So let's come to a comfortable seated position and then sit up tall. And even in this seated position, I want you to notice what your pelvic floor is doing. So if you're rounding like that, then you want to push your pelvis forward, which is what most of us need to do. If your pelvis is pushing forward, and it's hard for me to do because my spine doesn't do that, then you want to pull it back and in. So you want to go for a neutral spine. And then stack the shoulders over the hips. And let's just take a moment to come into our breath. So inhale, low belly, middle belly, chest. Open your mouth, exhale, release. Seal your lips, inhale, inhale, lift. Feel that lengthening through your spine, inhale. Pull your shoulder blades down your back, exhale, release. And then on this breath, I want you to think about your intention. Inhale, 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 exhale, release. For me, it would be body awareness, because I think that leads to less body injury. So inhale, 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 lift the spine, feel the neutrality of your pelvis. Exhale, release. Good, one more time, inhale. Notice your spine, shoulders stacked on top of the hips. Exhale, shoulder blades down your back. Nice. And then lift. And I want you to twist and keep this right hip on the mat. Right hand on your left knee, right fingertips behind you. So notice your hips. You can still think about your shoulders and your other parts, but notice that your hips are centered and they're not moving. Lift your heart. And then exhale, release. Pin that right hip down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. And then notice if you're pulling your belly in or sticking your belly out. So come to neutral. Good. And then come back to center. Switch which leg's in front. Come up, neutral spine. Left hand on your right knee, right fingertips behind you. Pin this left hip down. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Good. Pull your shoulder blades together. Inhale, lengthen. Press into your sits bones. Notice your pelvic floor. Nice. Exhale. Release. Nice. Make your way on your backs, and if you have a block, grab one, and if you don't, not a big deal. So if you don't have a block, just put your knees together. If you have a block, put a block between your knees. I want you to just feel it. You can put your cat between your knees if you want. And squeeze. So I want you to feel that adduction turning on. Yes, good. And then bring your toes to the floor. And then just lift your knees towards your chest and feel your hip flexors turning on so in front of your hips. And then back down. Pull your knees to your chest. Lengthen through your spine. Good. Exhale. Feel the front of your hip flexors turning on. Good. And then one more time. Knees to your chest. Lengthen through your spine. Good. Exhale. Pull it on down. And then add your hands behind your head. So lengthening through your neck. Good. Bring your knees in. So feel your hip flexors turn on. And lengthen through your spine. Bring your chest towards your head. And then exhale. Come back down. Feet down. Nice. Inhale. Lift your knees. Lift your chest. Get long through your spine. Exhale. Come back down. Good. And then this time, come on up. Squeezing the blocks. Either keep your hands behind your head if you have neck issues, and just bring your right elbow to your left knee. Or if you can, take both your hands to the outside of your legs. Try and get that left hip flexor off the mat. Exhale, come back down, feet to the ground, head to the ground, good job. Nice. Inhale, lift your knees, squeeze the block. Lift and elongate through your neck. And then again, maybe keeping your head behind your neck, left elbow to right knee. Maybe taking your arms on the outside edge of your right leg. So hip flexors and the front of your core. Exhale, come back down. Nice. And then keeping the block there if you have it, I want you to turn your hips over to the left or just stack your knees. And I want you to bring your right hand on top of your left. Good. This is like a PT thing, but slide your right hand a little bit forward and then bring it back behind you. Open up your shoulders like a book. And then inhale, use your low belly. Bring your right hand to your left. Good. Exhale, bring your right hand back down. So you're just twisting your upper back. So this part's for Wendy Kapaki. And then inhale, bring your hand on top of your left. Nice. Exhale, come on back. Bring your knees neutral, feet to the mat. Scoot your hips a little bit over to the left. Take your knees to the right. Take that left hand on top of your right. Engage your low belly. Good. And then inhale, left arm back. Just twisting the upper part of your spine. Exhale, so really isolating your upper back. Good. Open up your left hand. Elongate, engage your low belly. Exhale, left hand on top of right. Inhale, open your left arm. Exhale, hug your knees together. Good. And then let's remove the block for now. And we'll rock and roll on out. Good. And then let's make our way into a nice cat-cow. So hands are underneath your shoulders. So you look at your shoulders. You want it to be a 90-degree angle. Knees are underneath your hips. Press the floor away. Pull your heart through. Pull your shoulder blades towards the back of the room. Good. Exhale, round your belly. Engage your lower belly. Drop your head. Engage your quads. Drop the top of your head. Good. Rounding. Then inhale. This is going to open up your spine. Pull your shoulder blades down your back and away. Good. Exhale, round. Nice. And then come back to center. Good. Bring your right foot forward. So this is, we're going to come back to this. What are our hips doing? So I want us to spend a minute here. So press in that front foot. The top of your left toes can be on your back toes or on your foot. And then I want you to squeeze your legs towards each other like when the block was just there. Just squeeze your legs towards each other. Active left quad, active right quad. Then elongate through your spine. Notice if your butt is sticking out or if your hips are coming forward. For me, my hips come a little, my butt sticks out. So I'm going to bring my hand to my low back and pull my belly in towards my hands. Good. And then arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Press into those feet. Pull that left hip forward, that right hip back. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And then straighten your right foot. Fingertips on the floor. Lengthen through your spine. Engage your low belly. And then if you want, you can round down a little bit, but I want you to hinge at your hips. So this is something new I learned today. I know I say don't do that, but I learned this today. So you can round a little bit like in cat. Good. And then exhale, come forward. Hands to the mat. Come into plank, pressing into your hands. Maybe you're on your knees. Make your shoulders broad. Engage your belly. And then maybe lift your knees or lift one knee and the other. Really press your shoulders away. Nice. Bend your knees. Come forward and all the way to the floor. Good. And then take your hands behind you. Chin's on the mat. Lift your chin. Lift your legs. Strengthen your hamstring. Shoulder blades down the back, engage your pelvic floor. Exhale, release, turn your head to the right, bend your knees, go from side to side. Nice. Good, bring your chin to the mat again, top to your hands behind you. So we're strengthening our upper back. Lift your chin, look forward, add your arms, and then if you can, add your feet. See if you can put your heels together. That's gonna add a little bit more strengthening in your hamstrings. Nice. Exhale, release. Turn your head the other way, bend your knees, go from side to side. Nice. Come back to center, bring your hands right at your chest and make like a 90-degree angle. So low cobra, strengthen the upper back, lift your knees. Medium cobra, grip the mat, pull your heart through, bend elbows. Good. And then downward facing dog. Good. Push the floor away with your hands. Engage your low belly, let your head fall between your arms. Nice. And then come down onto all fours. Step your left foot forward. Good. So press into that left foot, top of your right toes or top of your right foot. And then again, pull that right hip forward, that left hip back. Squeeze your legs. So are you wide enough, Jennifer Merritt, with your front foot? If you're wobbly, you're bringing your front foot a little wider. Is that man bothering you? All right, put more, don't go farther forward first, Nate, but put more weight there. Put more weight there. Bring your weight there, yes. Press in that front foot, all right? It's a spider and it's crawling up to get you. Now squeeze your legs towards each other like you've got that block there. Then elongate through your spine. Notice if your butt is sticking out or in. And then arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And if your arms don't go that high, bring them lower. Bring them wider. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Pull your hips back and go for a straight back. Engage your low belly. Point your left toes towards your face. Nice. And then from here, if you want to come forward and round a little bit, if that feels okay for you. Nice. And then inhale, come forward. Hands to the mat. Press the floor away. Engage your belly. And then either lift one knee, then the other. Lift both knees. Good. And then come forward all the way to the floor. Nice. And then this time I want you to bring your elbows into forearm plank. So I kind of used to think this pose, not forearm plank, Sphinx. I used to think this was like I just hung out here and nothing was happening. I want you to take the time to press in your hands, press in your elbows, and pull your shoulder blades back. That's the base. Nice. From here, lift your hips, or your hips and your knees. Nice. Look forward, knees down, hips down, active Sphinx. Pull the floor away with your hands. Pull your shoulder blades wide, strengthening your shoulders. Nice. Lift your hips, or your hips and your knees. Keep your back flat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down, hips down. Lift your heart. Pull your shoulder blades down your back. Good. Exhale, chin to the mat. Bring your hands back to that 90-degree angle. Good. Lift your chin. Or come to medium cobra, gripping the mat, pulling your shoulder blades down your back. Or if you want, upward facing dog. Pull your shoulder blades a little bit back, Debbie. Nice. Downward facing dog. Good job. Engage your low belly. Feel that nice opening in the backs of your legs. And if you have that tightness there, bend your knees a little bit. Jennifer Merrick. Nice. Good job. And then try and push the floor away again, right? And make your shoulders wide. All right, and then before we start flowing, I just want to try this. I made this up. It may or may not work. So come onto your knees. I want to break down downward dog. So if you're tighter in your shoulders, so bring your arms up. So maybe come up like this. And if you're tighter in your shoulders, maybe take them a little wider. That's fine. Good. Roll your hands like a little bit towards each other, your elbows towards each other, and engage your belly. So lengthen. And let's just do the first half of down dog, which is puppy pose. So bring your hands to the mat and like recreate this, right? So pull in your belly, pull your, let's see, press your shoulders away. And then the last thing we're gonna add here is pull your elbows towards each other. So that's part one of down dog. Your head's between your ears. Melt your heart a little bit towards the mat. Good. So you're pressing in your hands to make your shoulders blades wide, but then you're pressing in your elbows. It's kind of counterintuitive. Nice. Then come on to your elbows. We're going to do dolphin pose, the other part of down dog. So we're not going to worry about our hands. We're going to press in our elbows and our hands, but not spread. Tuck your toes. So start off with your tailbone up towards the sky. If you have tight hamstrings, have a little bend in your knees. So don't care if your knees are bent. And then engage your low belly so that your hips start to face towards the floor. Nice. Good. So pull your chest towards your legs. And then come on down. Take a little rest. And then we're going to put it all together. And you guys will tell me later if this was helpful or you can just make a face at me. Okay, so let's start with our hands again. So take your hands wider, right? Turn them slightly out. Start in puppy pose. So bring your hands wide, engage your belly. Press in your hands, so you're strengthening, not just resting. Press in your hands. Hug your eyes of your elbows towards each other. Good. Now, press your tailbone up towards the sky. Engage your low belly. Good. Try and bring your chin towards your knees. And if you have tight hamstrings, bend your knees a little bit. So just putting them both together, you're an upside down V. Good. Nice. Oh, Wendy, that looks so nice. And then walk your feet to your hands. Good. Come to flat back. Put your hands on your shins. Why? Why? I was asking why? Because when you press into your knees and you elongate through your spine, you're getting an opportunity to strengthen your glutes. So I might mess up and not do this because I've been taught a different way for like 8 years. But hands on your knees, making your back flat, and then grab your hips, maybe even take your feet wider, hinge at your hips. So you're gonna have a little rounding, but I want your chest to go onto your legs. I want you to hinge at your hips. So I want to get your chest onto your knees, top of your head facing the mat. Good. So even bend a little bit more if you have to. Yeah, well that's better head position. Good. Come back to that flat back. So hands on your knees, hug your elbows in, elongate. Nice. And then fold again. Top of your head towards the floor. Feel that lengthening hopefully in your hamstrings. Top of your head faces the mat. Good, and then press your arms up. Engage your legs, hands to your heart. Okay, so this one we've done a lot, but just for a refresher. So neutral spine, right? So if your hips are doing this is really awkward for me to do because my body doesn't do this, but some people have that. Pull your hips in, you'll be neutral. If your tush is sticking out, which mine sometimes does, I have more of a kyphotic spine, then pull it in. Lift, grab on your hip flexors, lift your hip flexors up a little bit. Squeeze your glutes, elongate your spine. Nice. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. Good, inhale, flat back, hands on your knees or shins, lengthen, hug your elbows in. Exhale, fold, top of your head towards the floor. Good. Take your right foot back, drop your knee, go into a lunge. Squeeze, pull that right hip forward, that left hip back. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Good. Hands down. Zip up your back leg. Step your right foot forward. Come to flat back, hands on your knees. Exhale, fold, top of your head facing the floor. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart. Neutral spine. Tailbone down. Lift your heart. Arms up and look up. Good. Exhale. Fold. Top of your head facing the floor. Inhale. Flat back. Elongate through your spine. Exhale. Fold. Top of your head faces the mat. Exhale. Step your left leg back. Drop your knee. Hands on your hips. Squeeze your legs towards each other like you're scissoring the block. Pull that right hip back. Pull that left hip forward. Nice. Hands to the mat. Zip up your back leg. Elongate through your spine. Step your left foot forward to meet your left. Come to flat back. Hands on your shins. Roll your shoulder blades against your body. Yes, Farzaneh. Exhale, fold, top of your head faces the mat. Good. Inhale, arms up. Good. Hands to your heart. Good. All right. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. Good. Inhale, flat back, hands on your knees. We're going to step back into crescent lunge. So this will be helpful because your spine's in the right position. So either fingers on the floor or just step your right foot back into crescent lunge. Same rules apply with the hips. So your left foot's the same as the lunge on your back toes. And then grab your hips, pull your right hip forward. Pull your left hip back. Make sure your spine is neutral. Squeeze your legs towards each other like you're squeezing the block. Nice. And then add your arms. And then just so we remember that we have shoulders, because I have not, I've been totally ignoring them. Let's bend your elbows, take your arms wide. Elongate through your spine. So I just started to dump. My butt just started to poke out. So notice what your butt's doing. I'm going to pull my butt in. I got lazy there. And then bring your hands in and out. In and out. And then in, either have your elbows together, take your right hand on top of your left, eagle, give yourself a hug, lift your elbows, squeeze that pelvic floor though. Don't forget about your legs. Nice. Exhale, release. Bring your right foot in. Whoa. Pull the right hip forward, left hip back. Grab your elbows, lengthen. Come forward. So at this point, we're having a flat back. Nice. Shoulders in line with the hips. Good. And then we're going to go more into a forward fold. So hands on your hips for a minute. Pull your right hip forward, left hip back. Hands on that left thigh. Engage that left thigh. And then start to slide down. And now you can round a little bit, but you're hinging at your hips. And then the other thing I always do is I start pressing to the outside of my left foot. So press that big toe in. Engage that inner leg. Press into your back foot. Nice. And then inhale. Come back to down dog. And then come forward to plank. So press the floor away. Engage your belly. Come back to down dog. Come forward to plank. Good. And then on your knees, most of you. Press the floor away, engage your belly. Bring your elbows to a 90-degree angle. Hold, 1, 2, 3, and then all the way down. And if that hurts you, just skip that and do, just go to the floor. So hands next to your chest, hug your elbows in, lift your chest. Low cobra, lift your knees. Medium cobra, grip the mat. Upward facing dog. Shoulder blades on your back. Downward facing dog. Good, so remember, spread your hands, hold your low belly in, upside down V. Good, and then step or hop. I will be stepping today to the front of the mat. Come to flat back. Hug your elbows against your body. Exhale, fold, hinging at your hips. Nice, and then inhale, sweep your arms up. Hands to your heart. Good. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So let's come into chair pose. And in this chair, before we go farther, I want to add something today. So chair pose, put your weight in your heels, and then put your hands on your knees. Hug your arms in, and then elongate through your spine. So maybe this is very similar to what you normally do, or maybe you're like, oh, this is what this feels like. But for me, it feels a little bit longer. Nice. And then hinge, fold. And then inhale, flat back. I almost lift up. Fingertips to the floor. Step your left leg back into crescent lunge. Okay. Grab those hips. Pull your right hip back, your left hip forward. Come onto your left toes. This is going to be nicer for tight hamstrings and more difficult. Good. Squeeze everything in. Nice. And then elongate through your spine. Make sure you're not dumping in the back of your tailbone or going forward. Nice. And then add your arms. So make your spine neutral. Elongate. Lift your heart. And then let's take those elbows out again. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Find your focus as you're balancing and squeeze your legs. Don't forget about your legs. Inhale. And if this is throwing off your legs, then don't do this part with your arms. And then arms together. Lift. Or you could do eagle arms. Or you could give yourself a hug. And then re-engage your legs. So squeeze your glutes, squeeze your lower pelvic floor. Lift your heart. Nice. Exhale. Hands to the mat. Come to downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. Engage your belly, engage your legs. And then some of you who are lunatics, walk your hands a little farther forward and take a longer plank. So if you're building towards handstand and you're just not getting enough, then walk it back. Come to downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. Knee down plank or lunatic plank. Use your whole body, right? Legs, arms, core. Walk it back to downward facing dog. Nice, one more time. Press the floor away. So this is how you get stronger for the chaturangas. Maybe walk it forward, maybe stay where you are. Come back to downward facing dog. Nice. And then take child's pose. So just take a moment. And notice in child's pose, taking your hands behind you this time, that your back is going to round. So this is what I learned today, that your back is going to round, and this is the right. For a child's pose, your back is going to round. So that as long as you're engaging your low belly when you're doing a forward fold, you don't have to be so nutty about keeping your back straight when we're folding. So just come to this space of rest. Nice. And then one more time, if you have a block or a pillow or something, grab it. Others, but first I want you to watch me. And I just want you to get what this looks like, even if you don't have a block or a pillow right now, what chaturanga looks like. And also all the other things that we're doing, forearm plank and Cobra and locust, those are all valid and they're all important. So you don't want to just do chaturanga because then you're just strengthening one part of your body. But so I'm going to take the block right here at my breastbone, which is called something fancy and I can't remember. So, and it's kind of hard, so I'm not going to stay here long, but I just want you to see what a good way to practice chaturanga. So if you lay this on your sternum, and then you want your, so before you do it, I just want you to look. I see you cheating. Okay. I want your elbows at a 90-degree angle and see how that's flared out. So not flared out. Because we want to engage our serratus, our pecs, our lats. Good. Our delts. So this is like this. And then you just lift your knees. So everything is in line. And that's what chaturanga is supposed to look like. Oh, good. I can see myself. So that's kind of what you're going for, and this is a good way to get your form right. Yes, that's perfect, Deborah. So for me also, that's what makes the forearm plank valid as an option. Nice. So just don't bring your head forward, Jennifer Merritt. Be careful with your neck. Like, don't look underneath you. I mean, don't look at the block. Look down in front or maybe a little forward. Yeah, that's perfect. Nice. Do you want me to watch you, Wendy, or are you good? Wendy has a pillow. She might take a nap. Yeah, that looks really good, everyone. Yeah. See how you're hugging your elbows in, Deborah and Farzaneh? And then just look a little forward, Farzaneh. Nice. All right, so let's take the block away. And we'll just try that without the block. But let's go on our knees, except for Vince and maybe Wendy. And I don't know about you, Debbie, but I just want you to know see how this feels. So come back like the block is there. Bring your hands next to your chest. You don't want to go too far back. See how the angle's wacky, and you don't want to go too far forward. You want a nice 90-degree angle. So lift your chest. You're strengthening your upper back. And then maybe just come onto your knees, and that's your chaturanga. Yes. And then to plank, chaturanga, to the floor, to chaturanga, to plank, to rest. And we'll try that one more time. Nice. Okay, Deborah Rauscher, not good at resting. Jennifer Merritt, not good at resting. You're losing resting points. Okay, so let's try that again. So let's come on to your belly. Take your hands next to your chest. Hug your elbows in. Gaze a little bit forward. Push up onto your knees. Elbows at a 90-degree angle. That's chaturanga. And then up to plank. Yes. And then down to chaturanga. And then down onto your belly. So make sure your belly doesn't hit the floor before your chest. Up to chaturanga, up to plank. This is a lot of work. Come to chaturanga. Your belly stays in line with your chest. Bend your elbows, Deborah. It's all full, and then down. Okay, good job. Good job. Nice. Good. Turn your head to the right, bend your knees, go from side to side. Good job. All right, and we're going to do some side body work. Sorry, Jennifer Merritt. So come into down dog, and then just make your way to the front of the mat. Good. Hands on your hips, you're hinging at your hips. Then inhale, sweep your arms up. Hands to your heart. Good. And then I'm going to say step or hop. I will not be hopping. Your feet apart. Good. And then we're going to come into a warrior two. So everything else is the same that we do. Right foot's in line with the mat, back foot's kind of in line with the back of the mat, right knee's in line with your second or third toe. But then I want to build a pose from your pelvis. So I want you, most of you, and I know a lot of ladies that have these hip issues. So probably your hip is dipped down. So I want you to straighten this right leg first and lift this front hip up. And then bend your knee. Good. And then come to the side. So your arm can be here, it can be on the inside of your leg. And then I want you to put your left hand on your left thigh and push into that. So you're really using your legs, that your hips are in line. Good, and then add that left arm. So keep this engaged, keep this engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, come on up. Good. Let's do the other side. So, bend your front knee. Notice how your hip probably dips down a little bit. So I want to straighten it, lift this left hip so they're neutral, right? So they're the same height. Then bend your knee. Yes, keep that left hip lifted. And again, I'm hoping that this is going to be helpful with the side body stuff. Activate this right leg. So right hand's going to press into this right thigh. So really press into that back foot. And then you're keeping this left hip lifted. Bring your forearm to your thigh. We're not trying to do anything fancy. We're trying to be aware of our body. Maybe bring your left hand to the inside and press in that right leg. You want to take arm circles with your right arm, you can, although I skipped it on the other side. So I'll do it in triangle. How about that? Good. I just want you to feel your legs. I want you to feel that your pelvis is in line. Now, right shoulder on top of left. Good. Inhale. Woo! Come on up. Good. And then let's do that in triangle pose. So same thing. Straighten that right leg. Lift that right hip a little bit. Now, if this feels wonky to you, then maybe you have a counter thing going on. But for most bodies, lift that right hip so it's parallel. Reach your right arm out. Good. And then reach for your right shin or wherever you end up. Left shoulder on top of right. And then let's take your left hand behind you. Look at the floor. Bring your left hand over your ear. Look at your left hand. Now, I just started to roll to the outside of my right foot. So press in your big toe. Squeeze your legs like you have that block. Exhale, bring your arm away, look at the floor. Inhale, keep that elongation in your spine. Left arm up by your ear. Press in your big toe. Exhale, come on up. Nice. Switch sides. Good. Lift that left hip. Then bend. Right hand's on your hip. Reach that left arm out. Good. And then left hand to your shin. Right shoulder on top of left. And then bring that right arm up by your ear. Look at your right hand. Now, I'm really losing it today because my foot's bothering me. So ground into that big toe in your back foot. Look at your right hand. Then hand away. Look at your left floor. Keep that engagement in your glutes. Bring that right arm up and over. Exhale, bring it away. Good, come all the way up. Nice. Step your feet together. So not too much side body, Jennifer Merritt, because you know where I live. And then let's do some twists. So, first one let's do with our feet wide. Okay. So 2 ways to do twists. So first, let's just take your hands on your hips and open out your legs a little bit. Go from side to side. Nice. And then I want you to bring your right hand, actually I want you to bring both hands on the floor so that you feel that your hips are neutral and in line with the floor. Good. Then bring your right hand on your sacrum, on your low back. Elongate your spine, so press into your feet like you're in flat back. And just twist as far as you can go with your hips neutral, which isn't going to be very far, but for people with certain issues, this is better. If people can't twist, that they can just do their upper back. They have something going on in their hips. Then release your left arm up towards the sky and let your hips go with it. So according to my teacher, both ways are valid. Both ways are good. See what one feels better for you. And then hands to the mat. Come to flat back. Do a fold, plugging your elbows in, top of your head towards the mat. Engage your low belly and get a little length. See if you can get your head a little closer. Nice. Inhale, flat back. And then again, both hands on the floor. Come to flat back. Bring your right hand on your sacrum and just twist to the right a little bit. Then really ground into your feet. See how that feels with your hips being neutral, meaning they're facing the ground. Or reach that right arm up and let those hips go all the way, twist all the way. Engage your low belly, engage your glutes. So sometimes I just realize I'm not doing anything there. And then exhale, hold, bend your right knee. Bend your left knee. So Vince, I'm in my zone. If you want to do your headstand or something, go ahead. I'm just going to keep going in my zone that I'm in. Nice. And then come to flat back. Good. Come all the way up to standing. All right, and we're going to do, one standing twist and then one standing balance, which I might do the same side twice. So same idea of what we just did. Bend your knees and try and keep your knees together. So this is how I've always been taught. You have to keep your knees together, that it's illegal to open to have one knee in front of the right. My teacher says it's okay to do both, but we're gonna start with our knees together. And then, and you can have your feet wide. I feel better if my legs are touching. So just start with your right hand on the outside of your left knee. Get nice and low. So push into that left hip so you feel that elongation again. And then you slide that right elbow over, or just keep your left hand here and just do a mellow twist and check that your knees are in line. So that's one level of twist. Left shoulder and upper right. And then see if you can go deeper. So maybe slide that arm across and let that right knee come forward, which I feel like I'm talking blasphemy, but I guess I'm not. And then just get a deeper stretch, left hand on top of right. Let that right hip slip forward. Engage your low belly, engage your pelvic floor. And then exhale, hold. And then take your feet wide and do malasana. So this feels kind of good. Sometimes we do nothing but forward fold. So just squat down. Nice. Good job. And then exhale, come back up. Same rules apply. Bend your knees. Just start with your left hand on top of your right knee. Keep your knees in line, right hip on your low back. So knees are parallel. Yep, elongate through your spine. Try and stack your right shoulder on top of your left, and then you'll see your left knee is back, so pull it together. Good. And then go deeper. So maybe let the elbow come across. Now your left knee is going to slide forward. Right hand on top. Press in your hands. Exhale, release. Engage your low belly. Engage your pelvic floor. Lengthening through your spine. Exhale, bend your knees, fold. Come back into Malasana. Wow. Love you. Good luck. Okay. Sorry. Love you all too. My husband's leaving. Nice. And then just because we did all this work and I wanted to work on this Warrior 3, come forward, take your feet wide, bend your right knee and your left knee. Good. And then sweep your arms up, hands to your heart. So we've kind of done a lot of this, but we're kind of set up really well then to do this. So I want to work into a Warrior 3 and use all that hip stuff that we were doing. Okay, so I'm going to start on my left foot because my right foot's wonky. So same thing. So going from that crescent lunge, left foot is forward, push that right hip forward, that left hip back, and squeeze the imaginary block. So squeeze. Maybe if you put your hands on your hips, you feel that squeeze. And then elongate through your spine. And then keeping that same engagement. Coming forward, not even lifting that. Pulling that right hip forward, pulling that left hip back. Bring your hands forward. And then from this setup, press into Warrior 3. And then check in. Do you need to pull your right hip forward and pull your left hip back? Have an imaginary block, have an actual block. Nice. And then fingertips to the floor. Right leg up. Nice. And then right foot down. Fold. Grab your elbows, go from side to side. Nice. Sweep your arms up. Hands to your heart. Right, I'm going to do the other side. I don't know how it's going to go, so be loving. Left foot back, right foot forward. Put weight in that front foot. Bend that front knee. Pull that left hip forward as you elongate through your spine. Pull that right hip back. Come forward onto your toes. And then hands forward, your toes still on the ground. And then from that space, press into warrior three. I'm going to stay down. Yup, point that top toe towards the floor. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Your right hip's too high, Jennifer Merritt. Looking good, looking good. And then come into a forward fold. Good job. I did not do good on it, so good job to you guys. And then when you bend, hold on. Yeah, just make sure you're bending at your hips. So bend your knees always when you forward fold, Jennifer Merritt, especially you said you have that tight hamstrings. So just ease up on your hamstrings. You don't want to overly pull them. Good. I'm going to the floor. You guys can just keep flowing. I'm toast. So let's come down into the Smalasana. Press your legs. Good. Lift your heart. Nice. All right. And then I think it's time for some pigeony kind of stuff. Oh, good. We have time. Okay. So let's. All right, let's first lay on our bellies. We'll come back into that forearm plank idea with the Sphinx. Lift your heart. Hold your shoulders wide. And then bend your right foot, staying high. And maybe take your left hand at an angle. Reach around, grab your right foot. Nice. And if you can't reach your foot, this would be a great time to grab your strap or your dog leash. And if you don't want to do it, don't worry about it. Nice. And then make sure you turn your chest forward. Exhale, release. Come back down. Turn your gaze. Go from side to side. Nice. Good. And then come back up into Sphinx. Press in your hands. So maybe this is what you're going to do, Sphinx. Good. And then bend your left knee. Maybe you just bend your left knee, you don't have to reach it. Or reach around with your foot. Good. Kick your foot into your hand. So kind of stay a little bit higher with your chest. Press your foot into your hips. Engage your pelvic floor to protect your low back. Nice. Exhale, release. Come into child's pose. Nice. All right, and then if you have a strap or a dog leash, this would be a good time to grab one. Or a resistance band or anything that you have at home. We're going to come in a pigeon pose, and again, you don't have to use the strap, but if you have something, I'm going to say grab it. And let's bring your left knee to your left wrist, right leg directly behind you, and just stay up high. So press into that left shin, press into your right foot, lift your hips. Good. And then if you have a strap, or if you don't have a strap, we're just going to bend that right knee again. So I just got farther with the strap today. I'm going to bend my right knee, put it on my foot. All right, so for strap, people, listen to me, and if you don't have a strap, you can ignore me. If you have a strap, grab it really close to your foot, and then give a little bit of space so that you can turn your hand out and your elbows against your body. Nice. And then turn your hips back forward. Yep. And then you can just bring your elbow up. So I just can get way farther if I stay high and I have the strap. Nice. And then you can keep your left hand on the mat. You can reach it up, Just feel how sassy you're feeling. You can reach back and grab the strap. Nice. And then release your left hand, release your right arm slowly. Nice, take some hip circles. Good job. So I just get much farther with a little help. Props to my friends. Nice. And then go the other way. So right knee to the right wrist. Good. Left leg behind you. And maybe you're just going to do pigeon. You don't want to worry about the mermaid part. That's fine. But if you're going to do that, I still want you to stay high. I want you to stretch, active legs. And then bend your back leg. So your knee is going to get out of alignment when you do this. So when you bend your back leg, your knee's going to turn out. So grab your strap close by, slide a little space, and then turn your hips back to center. Maybe you stay here or rotate your shoulder up. Stay up high, press in your legs. Right hand goes out, right hand goes up. Bend your elbow. This is our back bend today. Engage your glutes. Nice. And then exhale, release. Take a child's pose. All right, and then I promised my friend Jennifer I would teach headstand, so I'm going to give these options. Dolphin pose, which we can all do, and then I'll do a headstand. And if you don't want any of that, just lay on your back, legs against the wall, or you can do shoulder stand, but I'm just not going to teach that, but you guys kind of know how to do it. So first, let's do dolphin, because we did all this nice work. So press into your hands, press into your elbows, and pull your shoulder blades away in Sphinx. Let's do that first. That matters, and I just realized how much that matters. Good. So if you're going to go into shoulder stand, really engage your belly, get your feet up towards the sky, Wendy. Good. So press your hands, claw the mat, lift your hips. Good. Lift your knees and walk your feet in. And then reach, claw the mat, press in your elbows, let your head fall between your arms and straighten your shoulders. And you're also doing that in forearm plank. Good. And then exhale, knees down, and come up and watch. Good. And then Wendy, you just come out when you want. So if you want to try headstand, stick your fingers in your ears, say na 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 boogie. Put your hands on that soft part of your head. So even if you're not going to do that, you can do forearm plank, but learn this part, right? So your hands are going to go, your head is going to go there. If it's behind that spot or in front of that spot, you're going to hurt your neck. Then take your hands behind your head, push your shoulders in, just like you do in dolphin, and hug your elbows in. Good. And then from here, you can just do dolphin and ignore me, but it's the same action. Or find that soft spot on your head, get back to the mat. Bring your elbows into the mat and open up your shoulders, just like we just did in Sphinx. And then maybe just come on up and don't bring your feet up. Press into your elbows. Don't have hardly any weight on your head. And let's just go that far, that's fine. And then exhale, come back down. All right, so I couldn't see you, Jennifer Merrick's posie's there, so I'll ask you how it went after. All right, and then let's just wind down. Let's just make our way onto our backs. Come into a nice Shavasana. So just take a moment to notice your body talking to you. Let go of the idea that your mind is supposed to be totally clear. And instead embrace what's going on. So turning the channel onto your own self-flicks, what is the story that's playing? Oh, I liked that. That was good. And then that thought's not good or bad. Or I didn't like that class today. That's not really what I wanted. So then what are you doing? You're labeling. Just check what your brain is doing, what you're worried about. And then notice if there are patterns for you. So for me, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to teach the way I want, so should I even teach class? And then I was like, you know what, I just have to be humble. Like, it's not that important that I do it perfectly. It's better that I show up for you. And then what's my story that keeps coming up? What's your story that you keep coming up that you let get in the way of what you want? Is it, if it's not how I thought it was going to be, I'm not going to bother? If I don't do everything perfectly, am I still okay? If I don't take care of everyone, will people like me? What's your story that just keeps coming up? And then just notice, are you labeling? Are you judging? Instead of judging, just say, oh, I'm deciphering, I'm noticing. Even if you notice bad stuff, that's good. You want to notice. And then what you want to do with that later. And then gently roll to one side, hugging your knees to your chest. Making your way up to a comfortable seated position.